Hey everybody, welcome back to another craft break. My name is Emma Panuski and today we are talking all about a brand new color palette that we are presenting to you guys. So every quarter or so, Plaid comes up with a color palette that is directly inspired by trends that we're seeing in the design world. And I'm super excited to introduce the first color palette of the year to you all. So if you hadn't already heard, Pantone released their color of the year, which is Peach Fuzz. Peach Fuzz is a really warm, soft, peachy tone, and I'll show you guys some examples of that and also introduce the rest of our color palette that supports that really beautiful new Peach Fuzz color. So before I get too into it, I do want to mention that Caitlin is in the studio with us, so if you have any questions or comments throughout our live stream, make sure to comment them down below and Caitlin can relay some of your questions and comments over to me. So without further ado, let's go over our color palette. So this color palette is called Pastel Play. It's directly inspired by that Peach Fuzz color, like I said just a little while ago. But we've also brought in some other really beautiful and unique pastel colors. So one of the reasons that we love pastel colors is because they're really simple, but they're so gentle and mood lifting. When we think about pastel colors, we think about femininity, elegance, childlike wonder, all of those great things. But I'll just kind of go through the paint colors. And if you're interested in picking any of these up, you can go to plaidonline.com and under our project display page, you will see our Power Play project page and you can pick up any of those colors there. So let's get into it. First off, this is Papaya Whip. So it's actually inspired directly by Peach Fuzz. This is really what Peach Fuzz looks like if you go to Pantone's website. So a really beautiful soft peach. Then we have Peach Breeze, which is kind of like a darker hue, a very similar tone though. Mango Mambo, which is one of my favorites, a really beautiful, almost kind of tropical feeling mango color. Fresh Cut Grass, really elegant solid green color that I think introduces a really nice pop into this very muted pastel color palette. Next we have Hazy Horizon, which is a really beautiful soft pale blue. More on the cooler side, a little bit of purple in that. Orchid Wisp, which is one of my favorites probably. It reminds me of like candy. I just love that color. A really pinky, soft purple. Vintage White, which is a warm off-white color that really brings all of these pastels together. And then lastly, Tangerine in our Folk Art Glitterific Fine. So if you're not familiar with Glitterific Fine, it is an extension of our Folk Art Glitterific line, but instead of our traditional glitterific, it has really ultra fine particles of glitter. And if you've never heard of glitterific before, it takes all of the fun that you love about glitter and it puts it into a realm where there's no mess. So instead of having little glitter particles all over your workspace for the next few weeks, takes all of that out of it. It's suspended in a totally clear base, so no mess. It's just painted on like traditional acrylic paint. And towards the end of our live stream today, I'll actually do a little demo for you guys so that you can see what it looks like in action. But what I wanted to show you all was one of my favorite painting techniques. You can see, and I'll bring them a little bit closer to you, we have these really beautiful projects that we created with our Power Play palette. These really gorgeous, funky vases. So this is our Peach Breeze and our Mango Mambo, and they're ombre together, and I want to show you guys how to achieve a really seamless ombre like this on a 3D surface, which can sometimes be a little bit tricky. We have this vase as well. This is our Orchid Wisp and our Papaya Whip. Love these vases. And this is a really cool activity to do maybe on the weekend, to go to your local thrift store, see some funky vases that you like the shape of, but maybe you don't like the finish or the color of. You can pick up some of your folk art acrylic paint and give them a new breath of life. This sweet little bust is painted with our fresh cut grass, which, like I was saying in the beginning, I just love the contrast of these really subtle pastels to this hardy green color. Our hazy horizon, this adorable candlestick with that really cute pink candle in it. And then lastly, in our project grouping, we included this really sweet photo frame that we dipped with our Glitterific Fine Tangerine. So let's get into some of the techniques that you can use with this new color palette. This is actually one of our surfaces at Plaid. It's this great little planter. It's made of really durable wood, and I'm going to show you guys how to achieve a really nice ombre with it using colors from our Power Play color palette. So to my palette, I'm going to load some Mango Mambo and some Peach Breeze. These are two colors that I think will blend really nicely together, and I love the contrast of the really warm, yellowy Mango Mambo and then the pinkier Peach Breeze. I think that'll look really nice together, and that's actually the two colors we used here, and it just looks like a really pretty sunburst. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to paint the upper half of my vase here with Mango Mambo. And all I'm doing is right now I'm applying a really nice solid base coat to my surface. So just the first top half with our Mango Mambo. And while you guys are watching, let us know where you're watching from, which color from our Power Play palette you think is your favorite. If you guys were surprised by Pantone's color of the year, a reminder that's Peach Fuzz. You know, sometimes I'm a little bit surprised by Pantone's color of the year, but this year it just felt right. I don't know what it was about Peach Fuzz, but I really love that color. I think it's so pretty and elegant looking. Pastels have been trending really big that we've been seeing for a while now, so I really wasn't surprised. Okay, so that's our top half. A nice solid coat on there. I'm going to go ahead and rinse my brush. And then on the bottom half, we're going to do the same thing again, except this time with our Peach Breeze. And a little tip that I would like to give you guys, it may seem kind of obvious, but some people really don't know. If you just kind of place your hand inside whatever vessel, make sure it has a wide enough mouth to where your hand doesn't get stuck, and then you kind of spread your fingers apart. It's a really great way to just hold your 3D surface so that you don't have to get your fingers touching all your wet paint, which of course would not be good. So yeah, I'm just holding my left hand in my vase to stabilize it nicely while I paint with my right hand. And if you're a lefty, you can just do the opposite. So I'm not worried about blending these two colors together just yet. I'm just right now establishing that solid base color. Okay, and now I'm going to rinse this brush now. Okay, and what I'm actually going to do next is I'm going to take my heat tool and just dry it until it's, you know, not totally dry, but just enough to where if I were to put another coat of paint on this, I wouldn't be peeling up that initial layer of paint. So let's do that. Okay, so not totally dry yet, but just dry enough to where we're ready to move on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a large flat brush. This is a 1.5 inch flat brush, and I'm going to double load my brush, and I'll show you what that means if you're unfamiliar. So I'm going to take one end of my brush and dip it in one color, and then I'm going to take the opposite end of my brush and dip it in a different color. So the first color I'm going to dip in our Peach Breeze, and then on the other end it's going to be our Mango Mambo. See that? So now I have both colors loaded onto my brush. I'm going to place my hand inside again, and I'm going to match up the colors on my brush to where I see them on my project. And I am just going to go ahead and brush that directly onto my 3D surface. Every so often, going back, if I applied a little bit too much paint in one stroke, I'm just going to go back and pick up some of that paint and just continue to soften it as I make one continuous long stroke. You can, of course, go back to your palette and apply more paint if needed. Going back. Okay, so now it's okay if you get a little bit down or a little bit up. That actually will kind of help you blend those colors to make a really soft and continuous looking blend in your project. But as you can see, I'm really holding my brush in one place, and I'm actually moving the project. I just find that it's easier to work with like that, and you have more control over the strokes that you make if you're not moving your brush, if you're just moving your project. And then as you can see, you're left with a really seamless looking blend. So super easy to do. I hope that that was helpful. Before we end our live stream, I also want to show you guys our Glitterific Fine in action. So like we said, I love, love, love our Glitterific Fine. I just love our Glitterific in general. Like we were talking about a little bit in the beginning, it takes all of the things we love about glitter and removes all the bad parts, which is generally just the mess of glitter and having to straighten up your workspace for the next 3 or so weeks and finding little glitter particles everywhere. So I'm going to apply some of it onto the palette for you guys to see. I'm just going to squeeze it out.
And these are not tint colors, they're matte.
Yes, so this is our traditional folk art acrylic. It's not multi-surface, it's in our regular acrylic line. So really great for surfaces like canvas, wood, terracotta, porous surfaces like that. Okay, and I have this vase that I just painted with a similar undercoat. I'm going to do the same thing, but except this time I'm going to stick my finger in it just to hold it. I'm going to take this flat brush, and I'll try to, isn't that pretty? It's like a little bit of ASMR. And it's really, really simple to use. You really just brush it on like you would any other acrylic paint. And again, it is in a clear base, so you don't have to wait for it to dry to see the full sparkly effect. How shiny and glittery it is right now, that's how it's going to stay when it dries. Oh, I just love it. And then another good thing to note is that when you are taking care of your tools, your brushes, when you're done using Glitterific Fine, you clean them the way you would clean a brush that has regular acrylic paint on it. Just warm water will do the job and get the excess paint off of your tools. So it looks really, really pretty on top of a similar base color, like this really pretty coral base, of course, that we're painting on top of. But you could also paint it on top of white or a darker color, any color that you would like to. It doesn't have to be the same color. I just really wanted you guys to see that Glitterific Fine tangerine in its truest form under a similar base color. So pretty.
And would it work well on wooden ornaments?
Yes, absolutely. This glitterific fine would absolutely work well on wooden ornaments. We actually use our glitterific fine in a lot of our seasonal projects that we make for Christmas and Halloween and Hanukkah, Easter, St. Patrick's Day. We have a really wide array of colors for you to choose from in glitterific fine so that you'll find the perfect color for, you know, whatever project that you're working on. Super quick too. I mean, you guys saw how quickly I applied it to our entire vase here. And I didn't apply very much product to my palette at all, and that covered this entire vase perfectly, and we still have a little bit left over. So super easy, really pretty. It's foolproof, and it always ends up looking really, really beautiful in the end. So guys, again, thank you for tuning in today. If you're inspired by our Power Play color palette, make sure to go to plaidonline.com, find this project grouping. That way you can find all of the colors from our Power Play color palette to add to your cart. We will see you next time.